Who killed Malcolm X? Such a great question that runs through my mind, you know? This isn't a publicity stunt. No, it is a great question.
What's wild about this question is it's a question that has been lingering for a very long time.
Absolutely.
So long that a lot of us don't even realize that it was an unsolved case.
Something that isn't even questioned. Something that's in the history books, but we haven't even really opened up and dug into the specifics because there's evidence a lot more than I've ever thought. So,
but answer me this: did you think that it was an unsolved, it wasn't a fully resolved case? You thought it was done and dusted, right?
Absolutely,
exactly.
No
as most people.
Asked.
So this drops and you're like, oh snap. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody really thinks about that. I remember the debate was always, did the nation or was it the FBI? Who was it? And yeah, this series answered a lot of questions.
Yes, but before we get into the nitty gritty, bro, let's kick this thing off like
Let's
FIFA,
do it.
baby. Let's go. Tres, dos, uno.
What are you doing? Like, come on, come with the energy, bro.
Let's get it, baby. Let's go. Let's kick this thing off, baby. 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jabril Salam
And Muhammad Hassan.
and you were listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
Assalamu alaikum.
Meh, 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 meh.
Hey, let's get it off, baby. Get
You
it
already
off.
know we come with the energy. We coming ready for it. And as you guys told us on the IG, you guys demonstrate to us that you guys really want to start watching this, or if you just finished it, you guys were really enjoying it. So we said, why not? Let's do our reaction to this series because we both recently finished it, and it left me feeling various emotions. Like I can't even put into words exactly how this made me feel because this hits close to home to me. I'm a very big fan, advocate of Malcolm X's teachings. And what he stood for, and to see something like this be opened, especially from the perspective of someone that loved Malcolm X a lot, that he put so much into this. It was a lot, man. It was deep,
Bro, I like the show overall because it uncovers stuff that I never even thought was possible. Like it legitimately dug up like graves, like dead bodies and ghosts and stuff like that because I didn't even know people even existed. Like for example, like I didn't think people that were next to him would be also plotting on him. You know what I'm saying? So like this thing was so deep that there was people at places that I didn't even think who would know about the dealings of this man that actually were manipulating the fact that they wanted this man done with, you feel me? And do anything and everything in their power to make sure this guy was taken care of. Because at the end of the day, he did have a backing, but once he lost that status with the Nation of Islam, it was just a one-man show, you know?
Yeah, there was a lot of responsibility on his shoulders and a lot of stress that he didn't have to deal with when he had the comfort of the nation.
But he goes from a singular platform to America to a world platform. You know,
interesting. Well, that's because his perspective became a little bit more broad.
Yeah,
he wasn't just fighting for black people, and the nation specifically. He was fighting for justice for all people, regardless of who it was for or whatever. So it was. He went from really black rights to a more human rights platform, and it's funny. He was always speaking on that, but you see, like after that period, that's what he was really evoking on. But overall, for the series, I think we talk about how we reacted to it. We have. I took plenty of notes with this. I have pages of notes just from this documentary, and I think with what I learned from this series was that there's a lot more than meets the eye with what is going on. And the government is involved way more than it. Now, I'm not going to say way more. The government is involved in ways that I didn't think it was initially. Or they were involved they were involved in the way that I thought, but it happened differently than I pictured it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because the debate was always, oh, did the FBI or the NYPD, was it the government or was it the nation? And it was really a mixture of a bunch of different factors that contributed to his assassination. It's not as black and white as, you know, that question suggests.
And I'm happy that the show showed that, you know, and broke it down. And I love that it showed like, hey, this was the difference in methodologies between the nation and Malcolm. You know what I mean? So it did show that differentiation.
Yeah, once he broke off.
Once he broke off, because that right there was black and white, which in the beginning I did not know. And then it also showed why the FBI didn't want him to get where he was going, because it was a political view at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it was speaking out against the government.
Exactly.
At that point.
So everybody was looking for different things. It's like, okay, you talk about justice, but when something happens and somebody gets shot, there's no justice being served, and you can't even turn an eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so he's like, that's being hypocritical, but at the same time, you know, politics. Because the nation was like, we don't get into politics.
Yeah,
that's what we do not do.
So once his platform shifted, you know, he became a more dangerous person. But let's not jump the gun. What I wanted to start with to do this reaction, this review, you know, for the people that are either going to watch this or soon to watch it, is what did you think of the main protagonist, the narrator of sorts, the self-taught investigator and self-taught historian Abdul Rahman?
Yes.
What were your initial reactions to him and his love and his dedication to digging up so much what we would consider lost history on one of America's brightest activists?
Bro, decades of work, and we should have definitely have mentioned Brother Abdurrahman's name so much earlier in the show, because he is such an essential part and plays such a great role. But you can tell this was life dedication, because there's some things I see on the show, like, how did he find that? You know what I mean? Like, how did he find that person? Even when there was one point, there was somebody on the show that went off the map just entirely, but he was able to find them. You know what I mean? So what type of devotion did that take? What type of time? What type of connections? And what type of just fearless mentality to figure out the truth no matter what? Because he could have gotten into some dangerous positions because he's risking his family, his life. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is what I love. So definitely shout out to that brother, because this is Allah's work, you know what I mean, from his perspective, and he wanted to find out the truth no matter, you know, what it took.
You bring up a good point where you talk about risking his family and the danger, but I would have to add that his devotion and unrelenting just like devotion, like this, like he just obsession. He was his obsession, that's the word I look for. His obsession over this could have cost him a lot in his life, and it probably did. It probably cost him a lot. You know how many bridges were probably, you know, burned or what have you. I would love to have this conversation with him,
inshallah.
But you know, if I was able to sit with him, I would ask him, like, you know, how is this taking a toll on you? Because this is you know, 40 years of devoted work, 4 decades of work that he put in, and we're just now seeing the fruits of that labor.
Insane.
And you know, we don't want to give away any spoilers to this documentary. What we want to encourage with this reaction, with this review, is that you guys go and watch it on Netflix, because it is so eye-opening to the many facets and ways that our government and the big players within the Nation of Islam, which, if you don't know who the Nation of Islam is or what they're about, do research. Research. But go. It's difficult if you don't know who they are, because this may not give you the best idea of who they are and what the organization has done. Me being African American and with my religious lineage stemming from the Nation of Islam, not saying I was in the nation, my parents were in the nation, but what the Nation of Islam was able to do for Muslims in this country, no other people from any other nation were able to come here and do what they did to establish Islam here. They established hundreds of masjids, that plenty of you guys are praying in today. The liberties that we have today, we had to pay homage to the Nation of Islam, whether we agree with, the ideology or not, they set up a foundation that we have here, and no other organization, no other people from any other country have come to America and done what they have done. Hundreds of masjids, millions and millions, maybe even billions of dollars put into the Muslim community, was established by the Nation of Islam. Jobs and helping our people when we were in the midst of just disintegrating ourselves. We were just like they say Elijah Muhammad took us out of the mud and cleaned us up, and that's really what happened. You taking people who were drug addicts, who were criminals, who were people that you would regard as the lowest of society, and bringing them up and then giving them something to live towards, giving them discipline. And for that, we're forever grateful, and we're forever indebted to what the Nation of Islam has done. However, with that being said, the things that were done, and there are things that I personally don't see as forgivable or right. And the fact that this documentary is bringing a lot of those things to light for the first time, and it's uncovering layers to things that a lot of us didn't really understand or know until now. It hurt. I'm not gonna lie. On an emotional level, it hurt because it spoke not just of a story of the religious foundation that I know, and obviously I knew growing up that it was certain things that were rocky, but it also speaks volumes of a people, my people, and how certain people within my ethnic community were handling this assassination and things of that nature. So it hurt on a different level, on different levels, while watching this, and I think that's the biggest thing I take away, man. Like, so many people were affected. It wasn't just one man being assassinated. It was a lot of people's lives being affected in very negative ways that can't be undone.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I would. There was a few great points that you had in there in regards to doing research and giving you guys some homework before you watch the show. Quick YouTube videos. Definitely look into the Nation of Islam at that time. Jabril gave you guys a quick snippet. Also, I would say look at the NYPD police, because these are the different entities he was kind of in the midst of. It was the NYPD. It was Hoover and his presidency and his administration, as well as the Nation of Islam. I mean, that's state and local government, you feel me, which is the police. Then it's the federal government, the presidential and the FBI. Then it's also the Nation of Islam, which they were their own militant institute in themselves, that was self-funded, that had its own political power and structure, and over 100,000 members, and over 50 masajid. That's almost one masjid in each state, bro. You know what I'm saying? So even a few in the busy cities, you know what I'm saying? So they actually had pull and an extent, and it's crazy how also the media started twisting things around. I don't want to get too much into it, but they were also using
they used every tactic in the book
to use it against Malcolm and twist on him. And he even said himself, he had a infamous quote. You can probably find it online. I don't want to butcher it, but it's almost saying you have the same people that talk ish about you, have you hate the same people, the other people you love, or something like that.
Yeah. They'll have you loving the oppressor and hating the liberator.
Exactly.
Essentially.
And I love how the whole premise of the series also comes down to that, because you figure out there's some people that you thought you loved in the community that had your back that was there for another reason, you know what I'm saying, like you said. So that's very, very heartbreaking, and the reality of life, man, no matter which way you see it too. So
yeah. But yeah, this is just exciting. This is just a short reaction to the series. We had to really figure out how we want to do this, because we didn't want to give anything away. We want to encourage you all to watch this series. Absolutely. Because it is, if you are here in America or whether you're abroad and you know of Malcolm X, this right here is a way to bring some closure to a case that was closed, but it is being reopened because it wasn't, justice was not done. There were people that were wrongly convicted who, gave up so much of their lives, and they were, for nothing. This isn't a spoiler. The killers basically got off scot free. You know what I'm saying? So, you'll learn more as you watch the series. Yeah. But, we give our prayers and sincere du'as to Malcolm X. May Allah be pleased with him and his family. And may this bring closure to those who, were aides of Malcolm X and really felt close to his message that he was putting out there in the world. So that, I think just go watch it, guys.
I mean, I would also say I definitely don't want to end this with like gloom and doom. It was a great episode, very inspiring, and a lot of information was found. It was successful in other ways as well. Like a lot of the history of Malcolm X and what he did was thrown out there too, so people was learning about Malcolm, all the great people he was visiting. At one point they called him like the black, like a messiah, because he was meeting like world leaders.
Yeah, for sure.
And I didn't know that happened so. Like the series of events happened so close.
He was only free for 13 years.
Wow.
He wasn't out of prison for a long time. Yeah. And 12 of those years he gave to the nation.
Wow. Huh.
Exactly. So things turned very quickly. Like if you know about Malcolm X, I've read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I've seen the movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. How he didn't win an Oscar for that performance is ridiculous. But if you don't know a lot about Malcolm X, make sure you do your due diligence. Learn a little bit about him, his message. Even if it's just some random memes, and kind of, learn his ideology. A quick Wikipedia search, can help you out. Google search, whatever. Just do a little bit of research if you know nothing about it. If you know something about it, then, going into this would be very good. But even if you don't know anything, you decide to go watch it, what this will show you is that there are layers within layers. As they say on Ertugrul, there are wills within wills, right? There are wills within wills. Nothing is as it seems, and it lets you know that the government has a way of wanting to silence certain people and certain figures as they always have, because that they can see a lot further than many of us can. So I have nothing else to say.
Bro, I am good to wrap this thing up.
Cool.
My reaction has been stated.
Go and watch this, everybody. Make sure you guys, if you don't follow us, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Young, the letter N Muslim, YOUNG, N Muslim, Young and Muslim. Mo, how can they listen to any of our other podcast episodes that aren't so serious?
You guys can catch us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, iTunes. Those are the major platforms that you can listen to us. You can also find us on the Young and Muslim podcast on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
Also,
please.
Give us a thumbs up on Facebook. We on there as well. I think kind of we post a lot of memes on there and just funny stuff. So,
periodically.
How it be.
So, thanks for sticking around, everybody. Make sure you're going to watch it.
Absolutely.
And we'll have some more great episodes coming to you soon.
And if you have any questions, always, like we said, DM us, shoot us an email. We're always here to respond to y'all. Y'all family, baby.
Yes, once you salami, then we family.
Hey,
you feel me?
We out, cuz.
All right, so for the last 18 minutes and 30 seconds, you have been listening to the Young and Muslim podcast. I am Jabril Salam.
And I am Muhammad Hassan.
And we leave you with the greens of peace. Assalam.
Wa alaikum.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Peace out.